Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for tuning in to what's going to be a video about some products that didn't work out for me. They were personally failed. Some of you guys might love them, but for various reasons that I'll explain in this video, they just did not work out for me. So a lot of these I've mentioned in previous videos, but in case you haven't seen those, since it's probably across, 3 to 4, maybe 5 other videos. In case you haven't seen one or all of those, I thought I'd just put them in one big pile here so that I could either give them to someone who I think might enjoy them or trash them entirely. First up are some products from Ulta, and in the time that it took me to order them, receive them, test them, and get a video up about them, they had already been discontinued. I have a feeling it's because they weren't that good. They are the Ulta Beauty Glow Enhancer Drops, and they had 2. One with a bronze, it was supposed to be a bronzy, but it just continued to get more silver by the day. I have no idea how that happened. At first I thought it was because the silver shimmer in there wasn't mixing properly, but it almost looks like this has just turned entirely into silver shimmer. So that was kind of a fail. And then the other one, Skylight, is more of a yellow golden base with that same sort of silver shimmer. These were, when I initially purchased them, I thought they were going to be something similar to the Custom Enhancer drops from Cover FX, but far cheaper. They're not. Not only are they not dupes, they were fails. So luckily you can't make the mistake of buying them because they're no longer for sale. Next up are some relatively new products from Maybelline. I think they were part of the summer or fall. They launched in summer, so that means they're I can't remember. Relatively new, like I said, from Maybelline, the Master Bronze and Highlight Kit. This I had texture issues with. Maybe you can kind of see it here on this product on the end where it got a little bit of that hard pan. Not because I used it with any sort of liquid or setting. I didn't get the pan wet. It just got kind of hard on the top for me. And then the one to the left has some gold glitter in it that just wasn't suitable for me to bronze or contour with. I love the lightest highlight shade in here. The one next to it wasn't quite amped up for me, but it also wasn't quite a bronzer. I really liked the highlighter, this golden one here on the other side. The one next to it was a little more subtle. Not a bad deal, but it's just, I'm a really big fan of in-your-face kind of highlights. So to have 2 of the shades not really work for me for one reason or the other, one that I just wasn't crazy about, it just wasn't worth it for me to kind of keep, purchase it first of all, but then hold on to it for just one powder that I really like in here, especially considering I have a ton of other highlights that I really, really love. Moving on to the City Mini palettes, I tried 2 of them, and they are not the worst things in the world. They're really not epic fails, they just didn't work out for me. Of the shadows that Maybelline has created, I think they have far better shadows out there than these, and my critiques of these come more so in the form of inconsistency and just a preference in the shades included in a palette. For instance, this Urban Jungle, I'm such a fan of emerald greens, khakis, things like that. But this palette just didn't it lacked the kind of diversity in color. Like I said, big fan of greens, all shades of greens, but there were too many similarities across these to really get, a diverse set of looks from a palette that has 6 shadows. It's not like it's a trio where it's kind of predictably limited in the number of looks you can create. Really would have liked to see more range there. And then, like I said, with consistency, the Downtown Sunrise palette, just not all of these shadows are quite up to the quality that I know Maybelline has in some of their other eyeshadow palettes. The next 2 products were epic fails for me though, and they are the e.l.f. Aqua eyeshadows. I bought both of the different shade selections. They had this beautiful cool blue, one of which is a duochrome that looks very similar to that, blue-brown shift that MAC has. A ton of other brands have that similar shift. And then I also got this one that's more neutrals but has that beautiful pop of maroony crimson. And I got these thinking they might be like a palette form of ColourPop shadows. They looked and sounded like they would have that similar cushiony texture. And I love some ColourPop shadows. The texture's definitely there, but the lasting power is not, and I tried these every which way, over a primer, worn alone, worn under a shadow. And the thing for most of these, worn under a shadow, they weren't so bad, but I want so many of these, I want these exact shades. I don't want to have to put a powder or shadow over top to keep them from creasing, because then it changes the look and effect that these shadows have. So those were kind of a bummer for me. Up next are some relatively new products from L'Oreal. These I mentioned when I was talking about, in a This Not That video, where I was talking about matte lip products from the drugstore. L'Oreal came out with some new finishes in their infallible lip paints. They have mattes, which did not work out for me, and they have metallics. I have really liked the lip paints from L'Oreal, except for these. These I just found they cracked and crumbled on my lips literally within less than an hour, which is unusual from this collection in my experience from L'Oreal. And just in general, when a liquid lipstick dries down relatively firmly, the last thing I would expect is to have it then chip and literally just disappear, especially in the center of my lips and around there after the first, half hour. It just could not withstand even mild sipping on water or anything like that. So these were an unfortunate no for me, but in case you didn't see this or that video, my solution to that was the new matte Color Reach lipsticks they have out, which are unbelievable. They're so silky in texture, they last for forever. They're not totally transfer proof, but pretty stinking close. I mean, they create, I don't know, there's something about them where even though there's a little bit of transfer, the color just lasts and lasts and lasts. So highly recommend those, not these. And then the other L'Oreal product that I wasn't a huge fan of is the Brow Stylist with the Kabuki blender. This is a large, like kind of waxy crayon on one end, and then as the name suggests, a Kabuki brush on the other, and I was very curious about this. I wanted to really like it because it seems like it would make brow styling super simple because you have a tint and wax in one. So you just kind of, go through your brows, you take the brush and you groom it all through, one and done kind of thing. Love that. But I think because the crayon itself is so thick, like in diameter, you just can't get a precise application, especially out here at the corner. Like when you really want a tapered tip here, you can't get it from the crayon, and then because you have this kind of larger kabuki brush on the end here, you can't really blend it and feather it out to be more precise either. So I found I just ended up with some like out of control brows. And the last two brands come from the brand Whoosh Beauty. I haven't even included these in a video. I have a couple of items from the brand Whoosh Beauty. I bought them a couple weeks back. It's taken me a while to get to them, but these were the first few I tried, and it's not looking good, folks. So the first of which is the eyeliner wheel. This I got because a lot of you guys have probably seen the MAC eyeliner that has come out where it has a small, like it looks tiny compared to this. I don't personally have it for comparison, but from the videos I have watched with people use it, it looks much, much smaller than this. And so I was on the Ulta website, saw this and thought, I'll give it a try. Maybe, if I like how this functions, I'll get into the MAC one. Because then on the other end, you have an angled brow brush, which I thought would be good so that it can kind of help you. Bottom line, no. It's a no for me, and it may very well come down to just a preference in application. Like some people might really like the kind of ease and control this gives you. I felt a little more out of control when I was using it. It's just not, I really like an angled eyeliner brush, or better yet, like a felt tip kind of texture when I'm applying eyeliner, and this just, no amount of using this could help me learn the right application technique. And also, it was just hard to know when and where to reapply product to the actual tool. As I'm going in and applying it, I'd find that I'm running out, but it's hard to know where in the wheel you're out of product, and then how to get that in that one spot without getting it all over the wheel. Just kind of tricky. So it's a no for me there. And then the liner that they have, this double-decker liner, I was really excited about because it is a liquid and powder in one. It comes in this super cool packaging where in the bottom you have a cushion liner, and this really surprised me. I was expecting a traditional gel liner, but actually it's a thin liquid that is in a sponge. So the sponge has the product soaked up. I find it generally when I use these, it's a little bit easier to control the amount of product you get on your applicator, whether it's a traditional brush or a weird wheel. It's just a little easier to get that control. And then on the top here, you have a black matte powder. I was going to say eyeshadow, but realistically it's eyeliner, eyeshadow, it's just a matte black powder. And then a cute little mirror that you can use to apply. It's not entirely practical and functional, but the thought's there. This liner, words can't describe how poorly it functioned on me. It dries really fast, and so it gave me really spotty application. And then when I try and go over top, whether it was with the wheel or the brush, it would flake off. Like it had dried so quickly and down to such a brittle texture that it just flaked off. And so I ended up with like some tinted and patchy spots that I try and go back over to. It was just a mess, an absolute mess. I was able to kind of fix it with the powder on top, but even then it wasn't transfer proof. Like my eyes were watering and I did one of these numbers and I just had this streak of black liner down the side, like down my temple. And so it's just, with so many great liners out there, this was just a no for me. Now, like I said, I do have a couple of other products from Woosh, like the stamp, the outer corner stamp, or the full face palette, where it's like you can literally do foundation, blush, concealer, all contour, all that kind of stuff from one face palette. I have that, maybe some other stuff from the brand that I want to get through, so that's not to say this whole brand is just a no, just these particular products just did not work well for me. So I would love to hear from you guys. Have you experienced the same thing with these products? Have you experienced something different with these products? Maybe I'm not using them right. Definitely let me know down in the comments below. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.